Still on the naughty list. Should Sussex hold on to hope of seeing the king on Boxing Day, or will they be facing another snub this holiday season? Let's take a look at the information together and try to sort out fact from fiction. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel. Well, I guess since the Montecito malcontents are back from their big trip to Costa Rica, they are putting themselves right back in the news. Now we're getting articles claiming that they could be visiting the king for Boxing Day. And at the same time, we're reading pieces claiming that King Charles is probably not going to even mention the two of them in his Christmas speech. So let's take a look at what's out there and let's try to figure out what is really going on here. Before Endgame came out, of course, we were reading all these reports that Meghan and Harry were interested in joining the family at Sandringham for Christmas, that they were willing to reconcile with the royal family and let bygones be bygones and forgive the royal family for whatever made up BS they did. And then Omid Scobie's book Endgame, and especially the Dutch translation, landed with a thud. And for a little while, we didn't hear any more of this nonsense about Meghan and Harry trying to join the family for Christmas. But I guess their strategy was just let the dust settle and then get right back at it, because now we are getting more BS claims in the media. All right, first story I'm bringing to you is from the Mirror. We've got the headline Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could still spend Boxing Day with the royal family for a sweet reason. Oh, yeah, okay, I can't wait to read. What is the sweet reason going to be? Quote, it was looking more and more unlikely, but now it has been revealed there is a chance Prince Harry and Meghan Markle could actually spend Boxing Day with the royal family for a sweet reason. Oh, how touching. According to a source who spoke with New Magazine, King Charles may have decided to step in for a very special reason. This source said, there was a lot of talk of possibly meeting up with the king on Boxing Day or even New Year's, so that Charles can see his grandchildren and they can sit down in a friendly environment and talk things through. Supposedly, Charles is open to welcoming Harry and Meghan because he supposedly, quote, wants to build a relationship with his grandchildren, end quote. All right, remind me, are we talking about the invisible grandchildren, the ones the king has never even met, and the ones we are not even convinced exist? Why would King Charles be so interested in building a relationship with those invisibles? I mean, first of all, Meghan and Harry have done more than enough to put him off. Why would he be willing to let the two of them back in just so he could meet these grandchildren who probably don't even exist? I don't believe the king is that foolish. And I like this source saying there was a lot of talk. Well, okay, the source was not specific about who was doing the talking. I'm pretty sure it was Meghan and Harry themselves. I doubt the royal family knows anything about this little plan of theirs. But this is the kind of thing they do. They put out feelers in the media, they put out these puff pieces suggesting that maybe they're going to come for Christmas, and then they wait to see if the royal family will react. Well, of course, the royal family never comes out and responds publicly, but still, I think we get the message through these courtiers that let us know that the royal family is interested in no such thing. Because again, even if King Charles could find it in his heart to forgive the traitors, Prince William never will. Prince William and Catherine are as important to the monarchy, if not more important than King Charles and Queen Camilla. Because after all, William and Catherine and those children, they are the future of the monarchy. King Charles is not going to piss off his heir like that. I don't believe that he would make such a big mistake. Another thing is, I doubt Camilla is ready to forgive them. I mean, after what Harry said about Camilla in his book, why would he even want to spend time with her? And it doesn't make any sense that they're going to come on Boxing Day and only spend time with the king. The king is not going to prioritize spending time with the Montecito malcontents and their invisible children over spending time with his family members who are loyal and supportive. According to the Mirror, it has been suggested that it's unlikely that the couple and their two children will reunite with the royal family during the festive period, as Harry has been concerned about security for his family. They are expected to remain in the U.S. rather than spend time with the likes of King Charles III, 75, end quote. No. Oh, okay. It's because Harry's worried about security. That's why they're not being invited. Is that what they're telling themselves right now? How delusional can those two be? Again, only in the Harkle zone are we expected to believe some nonsense like this. The reason Harry and Meghan are not going to join the royal family at Sandringham for Christmas has nothing to do with Harry's concerns about security. It's because they haven't been invited. And even those two were not delusional enough to believe they could somehow make it past royal security and join the family. Absolutely not. I mean, as if nobody's going to notice the two of them hiding behind some bushes, just waiting for a chance to join the royal family on their walk to church on Christmas morning. Those two were absolutely out of their minds. I can imagine the scene, though, Meghan flashing that rictus grin, looking so proud of herself, while Harry looks absolutely mortified. It would be a classic Markle move, would it not? Let's hope the royal family is preparing for that possibility. I wouldn't put it past her. It's crazy to think, too, how the last time Meghan and Harry actually celebrated Christmas with the royal family in the UK was way back in 2018. It was before Archofficial and Invisibed had even entered the picture. And supposedly, Meghan and Harry joined the late Queen for her annual lunch at Buckingham Palace on December 19th of that year. That was only 7 months after the two of them had their spectacle wedding. I guess back then, that was when Meghan and Harry were still convinced that they were so popular and everybody loved them. They convinced themselves they were doing the royal family such a big favor by joining them for Christmas. But now the tables have certainly turned. It's Meghan and Harry who are basically begging for an invitation and being denied. I do think it's funny too how the day keeps on changing, which day Meghan and Harry are going to be spending with the king. First, we heard that they wouldn't turn down an invitation to join the family for Christmas. Oh, how cute. And then we heard that, in fact, they were going to be spending New Year's with the king because William wasn't going to let them show up for Christmas. And now, I guess, after that New Year's plan failed to really happen, they've decided on Boxing Day. Surely they can get Boxing Day. It doesn't sound like the king is going to play ball, though. I'm sure he's being informed about all this BS that's showing up in the news, and I'm sure he's just rolling his eyes and wondering what in the world happened to his darling boy. So, okay, that first article was straight out of the Harkle Zone. We've got Harry and Meghan again fishing for some kind of response from the palace, hoping that the palace is going to acknowledge them, maybe invite them to join the king for something at some point in time. I don't think their little scheme is going to work, but let's just wait and see. So, at the same time that we've got this nonsense, we've got another article in the Express with the headline Prince Harry and Meghan Markle set to be snubbed in King Charles's Christmas Day speech. Let's take a look at this article and see which one we think has a little more truth to it. According to the Express Online, it is understood that Charles is eager to improve relations with his son and daughter in law, with his grandchildren Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet becoming a key driving factor in the king's mindset. Well, okay. I do believe that the king is looking to make peace with Harry and Meghan. I don't think it has anything to do with the invisible children necessarily. I do believe, though, that the king doesn't like conflict. I mean, according to everybody who knows him well, he is somebody who avoids conflict at all costs. And I know that this rift with his own son has to be bothering him. He is a loving father after all. I 100% believe that about him. But at the same time, the king knows that he's got William and he's got Camilla telling him that they'll never accept the two traitors back. And I believe in this situation, the king is absolutely going to side with his son and his wife. After Scooby Doo's book Endgame naming King Charles as one of the members of the royal family who said something racist about Archie before he was born, I also suspect the king is probably pretty angry with Meghan and Harry right now. The king knows how damaging this accusation could be to his reputation. Of course, it doesn't look like it's having any real effect, but still, the optics are not good. The king also knows he's got to keep the people of Britain and the Commonwealth happy, and the people of Britain and the Commonwealth are certainly not happy with Meghan and Harry right now. So, the way I see it, the king is under no obligation whatsoever to let those two back in or forgive them or whatever it is they're wanting. I think it's more important that the king stay strong and support the people who really matter: his son, his daughter in law, his wife, the people of his country. Christmas is coming up soon, in only a couple of days, and of course, the king is going to give his annual Christmas speech. So, one thing we're waiting to see is will the king even mention Harry and Meghan in the speech? It is common for him to say something about all members of the family, whether working or not. And if he leaves the two of them out, we can certainly assume it is intentional. Richard Fitzwilliam, the royal expert, was asked for his opinion on whether or not the king is going to mention Meghan and Harry in the speech, and his response was, quote, Harry and Meghan are unlikely to be mentioned. Omid Scobie's endgame, which was an attack on the monarchy and caused considerable controversy, certainly won't be. I'm sure Richard is right on this one. I mean, according to many different accounts, the king was upset by Endgame. He felt like it was a distraction from the important work that he was doing for the COP28 summit in Dubai. The king has said time and time again that he doesn't want family drama to be eclipsing the important issues that he's working on. And I don't blame him. I mean, how frustrating must it have been for him? He has worked for such a long time on trying to fight climate change. He showed up to this really important summit to deliver a speech. And then, instead of his good work and his speech making news, all we saw in the headlines was this nonsense about Endgame. King Charles is 100% correct. It's an unnecessary distraction. And they need to stop claiming that Meghan and Harry had nothing to do with this book. Come on, their fingerprints are all over it. Mr. Fitzwilliams went on to say, it does seem likely that with the situation in Gaza causing such concern that it will be mentioned. The coming year is an election year in Britain. The King's message, above party politics, will symbolize the continuity which the monarchy provides and which is so important. Honestly, I think it's better if the king doesn't mention Meghan and Harry in his Christmas speech. After all the trouble the two of them have caused, nobody wants to be reminded of them. Instead, I think it would be a very wise decision for the king to focus on the monarchy and why it continues to be so valuable. It is an election year, and it's important to remind everybody of the stability and the consistency that the monarchy provides. Another problem with letting the traders back in at this point in time is that the people of Britain are certainly not going to stand for that. Harry and Meghan have insulted the entire country. They trashed the Commonwealth in their docu-series as Empire 2.0. And as if that were not enough, just think about the way they trashed Catherine in Endgame. You can't take that stuff back, and people are not going to be easy to forget or forgive them for all of this. And we're also still waiting to see, is the palace going to do anything in response to Endgame? I mean, I know their mantra is never complain, never explain, but still, at some point, a line has to be crossed. And if Endgame wasn't enough to cross it, then what is? That's the one thing that has me a little bit worried about the palace's stance of not responding. Sometimes I worry that this is only going to embolden Meghan and Harry, that they're going to keep on provoking the palace until they finally get a response. And I worry what it's going to lead to. I mean, we have seen so much egregious behavior from the two of them. They've accused the royals of being racist. Harry said that his father and his brother are trapped in the monarchy and that he's so happy because he's free. The stuff they have said about the royal family is absolutely horrible. And again, it's not stuff that people are forgetting. So if you ask me, before the king really seriously considers reconciling with Meghan and Harry, he needs to think about how the people of Britain are going to feel about that. They're not going to be happy. And if he cares about preserving the monarchy going forward, then he needs to remember he can never let the two of them in again. When you think about it, it is an incredibly sad situation. I mean, the biggest threat to the monarchy right now is one of the king's own sons and his narcissistic wife. I still believe that Meghan Markle is a driving force behind all this, but again, Harry goes along with it. Harry is completely brainwashed, so he is as culpable as she is at this point in time. And as for the two of them, what they're going to do for Christmas, well, who really cares? I'm sure we're going to get some stupid story about how much fun they had for Christmas, that Tyler Perry invited all of them over, and Lilibet and Archie got to open so many presents, more presents than the Wales children got. But it doesn't really matter what kind of BS stories are printed about them and how wonderful their Christmas was away from the royals. We're going to know it's exactly that, a big steaming pile of BS. And we're going to know that Meghan and Harry did not get their number one Christmas wish of joining the family at Sandringham. So on Christmas morning, we don't know what exactly Meghan and Harry are going to wake up to find in their stockings, but we do know it's not going to be any invitation from the palace. And do you think there's any chance Meghan and Harry are going to spend Boxing Day with the king, or is this PR fluff as usual? Please let me know your opinion below in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to like and share with your friends who would enjoy it too. And don't be afraid to click the subscribe button to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back to see you all tomorrow.